Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that might just flip the script on how you chase your biggest dreams. We're looking at one super common habit that could be the very thing sabotaging your success without you even knowing it. Ready to find out what it is?
Okay, so let me ask you something. When you've got a huge goal, like starting a new business, absolutely acing that big exam, or finally learning a new language, what's the first thing you do? You probably share it, right? You tell your friends, your family, pretty much anyone who will listen. It just feels good to get it out there. But what if that's the big mistake? Seriously, what if the simple act of talking about your goals is the main reason they never actually happen? I know it sounds a little crazy, but stick with me because we're about to explore why keeping quiet might just be your secret weapon. To really get this, let's dive into what you could call the talker's paradox. And the best way to see it in action is through the story of a young guy named David. Now, David is a guy we can all probably see a little of ourselves in. He's sharp, he's not afraid of hard work, and man, does he have big dreams. But he's got this one little habit. He loves to talk about his plans. He tells everyone what he's going to do, the strategies he's going to use, the whole shebang. And here's the problem. There's this massive gap between his plans and his reality. He plans to be the top student, but his results are just okay. He talks about mastering new skills, but he ends up losing interest halfway through. And maybe worst of all, people start to make fun of him. He becomes the guy who's all talk and no action. So David's feeling pretty down, totally confused about why he keeps failing. He decides to talk to the one person he knows will give him some real wisdom, his grandfather. And trust me, this one conversation is about to change everything for him. David lays it all out, and what his grandfather says just floors him. He doesn't say, oh, you need to work harder, or you just need a better plan. Nope. He points his finger at the one thing David never considered, the talking. He tells him, that's your problem right there. And to really make the point stick, his grandfather tells him this old story, a fable about a farmer named Thomas. Thomas was a poor but hardworking guy, and he had a huge dream of building a big, beautiful farm. But he had one unbreakable rule. He never, ever told anyone what he was up to. See, Thomas's whole strategy was just to put his head down and get to work. For years, he quietly saved up his money. Then he bought a little plot of land, then another. He just kept building, piece by piece, without saying a word to anyone. The villagers just saw him working day in and day out, but had no clue what it was all for. And then, one day, bam, it was done. A huge farm and a beautiful house stood where there was once nothing. They were absolutely stunned. When one of his friends finally asked him, Thomas, why did you keep all this a secret? His answer was just perfect. He didn't need to talk about his dream. He was too busy building it. He wanted his results, the farm, the house, the success, to do all the talking for him. Now, this isn't just a nice little folk tale. There's real hard science behind why Thomas's silent strategy worked so well and why David's loud approach was failing so badly. So let's break down the actual psychology of staying quiet. The big idea here is something called fake satisfaction. It works like this. When you tell someone your big goal and they say, wow, that's incredible, you're going to be amazing, your brain gets this little rush of pleasure. It's a chemical reward, and it feels so good, your brain kind of tricks itself into feeling like you've already achieved something, even when you haven't lifted a finger. And that right there is the motivation trap. It's a vicious little cycle. You talk, you get praise. Your brain gets that premature feeling of success. And what happens next? The actual motivation you need to do the hard, boring, difficult work, it just vanishes. You got the reward without doing any of the work. And if that wasn't enough, there are two other big dangers. First, all the time and energy you spend talking about your plan is energy you are not spending actually doing it. And second, when you share your dreams, you're inviting everyone to weigh in. And not everyone's going to be a cheerleader. You open the door to doubters and critics who can crush your motivation before you even start. So, with his grandfather's story ringing in his ears, David goes back to his life with a brand new game plan. He decides he's done talking. From now on, he's going to let his success be his voice. The change is like night and day. The old David, all talk. The new David, all action. He stops broadcasting his plans and just gets down to business. He stops worrying about what people think, and you know what happens? His own self-confidence starts to soar. He hits the books harder than he ever has before. So what was the result of all this quiet, focused hard work? Well, David didn't just get a better grade. He became the #1 ranked student in his entire school. No big announcements, no bragging, just a result that nobody could argue with. And when his friends, totally shocked, asked him how he did it, David just smiled. He remembered his grandfather's advice. Staying silent hadn't held him back. It had protected his dream and fueled the fire to get it done. So, what's the big lesson here for all of us? It's pretty simple, really. Keep your most important goals close to your chest. Let your hard work be the only language you speak. And when people have questions, let your success be the answer. Just work quietly and wait for the right moment to reveal what you've built.
And that really brings it all back to you. Think about it. What's a big goal you have right now? Have you been talking about it a lot? Maybe, just for today, you could take one small, silent step towards it instead. How will you let your actions do the talking? Because at the end of the day, it's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about getting the most done. And sometimes, the best way to do that is to remember this one simple truth. The strongest voice is silence.